Hello, peoples of YouTube. My name is Travis, and I am in the process of making my own fantasy map. This is turning out to be a little bit tougher than I expected, but I think it'll be worth it. So I guess it's best if I showed you my map that I made. Alright, well, hopefully the light doesn't stop this, but here it is. Hopefully you saw that. That was my map of my soon-to-be world, Cormandine. I started working on it about, 3 years ago. And then I stopped. I don't know why, but I stopped. And now I'm getting back into it. I had a square I can't think of it now. A graphic notebook where it has little squares in it. I use that for making the map. And originally it was laid out to be a giant circle with one little bay or gulf, whichever one you want to call it. And that was my major city, which was called Cormandine. And then there was the Crystal Castle of Elshire, there was the Scrockpio Mountains, and there was the Borderlands, there was the Radium Wastes, and a few other things. What happened with that, I don't know. I don't know where I put it. But I'm getting back into it now, and I still have my files from it. I just don't have the map. So I'm recreating the map, and I added a few more things to it. So here, let me take it down for you guys. Oh. Alright, here we go. So. I don't know how well this is going to work out, but we're going to do it this way. So here we have my Cormandine. Let me see if I can get it right there. And then I replaced the Crystal Castle of Elshire with the Diamond Isles, which are basically giant diamond crystals that are red, and pulling this off of 4th edition, the shard mines. I'm putting the shard mines in Cormandine because I thought they were cool. So, sorry if I seem a little tired. It's 12:36 over here in Nevada, or Nevada, for us Nevadans. So, these are my Diamond Isles. And of course we have Cormandine and a little thing up there, and my north sign. Through this, like I said, I added a few more things because I'm sorry, I was getting off topic. I added this whole section right here. All right here. All that was created to fit. Originally, it was just one thing, but it was just, like I said, it was a giant oval. How I was able to figure out how to get it to make it more realistic looking was you create the blob, and then you create divots in it, and then you create divots in it again while you're going over it with a pencil. And it does not, your first one, I don't know why, but it's the 3-step thing that I did, and it looks pretty cool so far. The first one that I did was a blob. Giant blob. And the next one, I turned the blob. Yeah. Sorry, my cats are stepping on my map, and I don't want them to put their claws through it. So, you had, like I said, you had your first one, which is a giant blob. Then your second one, you put divots in it. You put your bays, you put your peninsulas, you put your islands. And then, once you're going back over it, you have to actually outline the entire map. And don't stick with the same divots that you made from 2. Don't do that. Because what will happen is that it'll just look flat. How it looks scribbled up and down. I don't know why I did that, but it looks more natural that way to me for some reason. So after that, I came out to a white copy, and it was hard to tell what was the sea and what was land, so I had to go in and color in the sea with blue, of course. Afterwards, I started working on the portions of land, and I got that far. If you saw the thing about 3 minutes ago, I did all that in one day. And my dad, who likes to do that geography type stuff, because he's a game master as well, and I'm game mastering my own Star Wars game, soon to be another Mass Effect, and that, my Cormandine. And if you want to look at my cats, there they are. Very, very cute. So, with all that, I came up with the different sections of land. Now, what I would recommend you doing first is you draw in the mountains. Draw in the mountains first, so that way you have something to go off of. Because what my dad told me was that you have your mountains, and then you have to determine which way the wind is blowing from the sea. So that way, when the sea wind comes up and blows all the moisture in, the mountains catch it, and then there will be more grasslands. And like you said to me, more like Nevada. And if you look on the internet for Nevada pictures, even go onto Google Maps and look up Nevada and check out a little bit above Dandini Boulevard, and you will see that it is sagebrush. There is grass here, but not a lot. Sagebrush, rocks, and more rocks. And it's pretty dry out here. And my dad hates it because he's from the California and San Francisco, where it's very, very moist. So coming out here, his sinuses get all dried out, and they crack, and he gets a lot of nosebleeds. So yeah, if by any chance you do get anything out of this video, I'd recommend that you take this idea and go with the different, not with the different time zones, but with the different, like you have your northwest, your southwest, basically all, did I get them all? I don't remember. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and yeah, so basically what my idea for how I'm going to be grouping my different sections of the map is putting it into 6 or 8ths. And with these 8ths, what you do with this is that you simply take a plain piece of paper and, well, yeah, of course you have to label what the name of your sections are going to be. Like, for example, my southeast part is called the nothing. So on one of your 8 pieces of paper, write the nothing, and then draw out the map. And it's basically just to create a bigger region, And with that bigger region, draw in all your civilizations, all your cultures. That's the idea. And when you're in-game, or when you're doing your story, whatever, which one you want to do, you basically can refer to your different sections in-game or in your book. So, for example, if this this Oedipic merchant comes up and you ask him where his goods are from, because I'm a DM. That's where my ideas come from. It's coming from DMing, and that's how I'm going to put it. So this Arabic merchant comes up to you, and you're asking him where his goods come from. Well, you could say that it comes from the Nothing, which is the southeastern part of your map, your world map. And within that eighth, you can create the the important parts, but the places of interest within that section. So, for example, in my The Nothing region, I have Kilroad's Shivering Isles, which is right here. And if you can see it, that's the Nothing right there. Basically, it's this entire section, all right here, before you get to the Grand Peninsulas. And I know I spelled peninsulas wrong, but oh well. So you have your Desolate Plains, you have the Pirate's Paradise of Eldritch, and then you have the Belg Swamp, and after that it gets into the Rocks. And then for me, you have the Curve, the Stretch, the Tattered World, the Arc, the Hook, and of course the Great Peninsulas. You have all 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the hook up there. It's named because of this right here, because it looks like a hook to me. And you can mention it in your story or in your game, and people will know exactly where it is in that specific area. And then you just go finer down, because you have, let me pop this up so I can use both my hands, because you have your region, and then your places of interest go farther down, and then your cities go farther down to the streets, and so forth. Sometimes this may not always be true. Sometimes you might have to improvise. Writers, since you have, I don't want to say you have time, but you have, well, yeah, I guess you can use that. You have time, so you could probably come up with something that is easy to go with, easy to flow along the waters of that region. So, for example, I have Kelro's Shivering Isles, which I plan for it to be a pirate-infested water. And there's also the Pirate's Paradise of Eldritch. Within those 2 areas, you can come up with your cities. So, I haven't gotten in depth because these are new to me. I have to expand on them. But let's say that one of them is called, to quote Pirates of the Caribbean, Tortuga. So you have Tortuga, and there's things in the or creatures in the islands, the Shivering Isles, and one of them has a bounty, or one of them is to be gathered for some ritual of voodoo or something like that. Something on that line. That's what the Nothing is there for. It's for an idea of the Pirates of the Caribbean. Blah, blah. But yeah. And then, of course, since I live up here in the Pacific, we're near Lake Tahoe. And I've gone up there a few times, but not as much as I would like to. And I like the environment, the cold tundra. So, a lot of my landscape is all of that. Because I know it better. I know I don't want to say I know more about it, but I'm used to it. Down here in Reno, it's mainly, like I said, rock, sagebrush, horribleness. So this will be my first video. I'm going to continue to expand on it as much as I can, as long as I maintain my interest in this. Right now, it's the map. The map is my main focus. I need to get down to Smuggler's Paradise and the Arbiter's Gulf, and then Jeve's Jungles, to quote again, Oblivion Black Marsh. I don't know why, but I liked Oblivion a lot more than I liked Skyrim. It had more to it, but that's just me. Alright, so that's that. My name's Travis, and this was my first video of hopefully more to come on making your world map and getting more detailed with it, so that way you can write it in a book, write it into a story, write it into your game if I have any ideas that you guys might like. So, happy bananas.